Hello once again. This is Masharia from Kenya Coast National Polytechnic. Uh, Today I want us to go to the second topic of our marketing management course, and I would like us to look at the marketing environment. And this is in relation to the hospitality and tourism department F&B section. Today we are going to look at the marketing environment, and in the marketing environment, I would like us to look at the following. One, we need to explain the meaning of the term marketing environment. Then we need to discuss the external environment and also to be able to understand the aspects of the internal environment. So when you look at the marketing environment, we say marketing environment surrounds and impacts upon the organization. Uh, there, are, there are three key perspectives on the marketing environment, namely the macro environment, the micro environment, and the internal environment. To go deeper into that, you find that the macro environment is engulfed in three areas, that is political factors, technological factors, social economic factors, and economic factors. And the macro environment looks at the consumer, the stakeholders, and the suppliers. And then when we talk of the internal environment, we are looking at the five M's, that is men, money, machinery, material, and the minutes in terms of time. When the microenvironment refers to the forces that are close to the company and affect its ability to serve its customers. It includes the company itself, its suppliers, the marketing intermediaries, the customer markets, and publics. Uh, this environment influence the organizations directly. It includes suppliers that deal directly or indirectly, consumers and customers, and other local stakeholders. Micro tends to suggest small, but this can be misleading. This can be misleading. In this context, micro describes the relationship between the firms and the driving forces that control the relationship. It is a more local relationship, and the firm may exercise degree of influence. Uh, when you talk of macro environment, these include all factors that can influence an organization, but that are out of the direct control of the organization. A company does not generally influence any law, although it is accepted that they can lobby to be part of the trade organization. Uh, it is continuously changing, and the company needs to be flexible to adopt. There may be aggressive competition and rivalry in a market. Globalization means that there is always a threat of substitute and new entrants. The wider environment can also is also ever changing, uh, and the marketer needs to compensate for changes in culture, politics, economics, and technology. Uh, Let us briefly talk about the five forces analysis. And when you talk about the five forces analysis, in the heart of it all, you are looking at the competitive rivalry, uh, within which we have the threats of new entrants, bargaining power of the supplier, bargaining power of the buyer, and the threat of substitute products. When you talk of the five steps analysis, you need to go deeper into it and try to find out how it impacts on organizations. Uh, Five forces analysis helps the marketer to construct a competitive environment. It has similarities with other tools for environment audit, such as pest analysis, but tends to focus on stand-alone business rather than a single product or a range of products. Five forces analysis looks at five key areas, namely the threat of entry, as I had said earlier, power of buyers, power of suppliers, threats of substitute, and competitive rivalry. When we look at the threats of entry, economies of scales like the benefits associated with bulk purchase, uh, high or low cost of entry, e.g., how much will it cost for the latest technology, ease of access to distribution channels. For instance, do our competitors have the distribution channels swept up? Uh, Cost advantage not related to the size of the company, e.g., personal contacts or knowledge that larger companies do not own, or learning curves effect. Will competitors retaliate? Those are some of the factors that we need to address when dealing with that. Then, go- government action. For example, will new laws be introduced that will weaken our competitive position? Then we can also look at how important is differentiation. For example, uh, a champagne brand cannot be copied. Uh, this desensitizes the influence of the environment. So basically, if you look at that, it brings a very clear picture of the threat of entry. Now, the second one was power of buyers or the purchasers. This is high where there are few large players in a market. For example, a large grocery chain. If there is a large number of undifferentiated small suppliers, e.g., farming business supplying a large grocery chain, the cost of switching between suppliers is low. This and a good example is from one fleet supplier of trucks to another. Then, then we also have the other aspect, that is power of the supplier. The power of supplier tend to be reversal of power of buyers, uh, where the where the switching costs are high. For example, switching from one software supplier to another, or another one can be power is high where the brand is powerful. A good example is, for example, when you go to the car industry, you can talk of Cadillac. When you go to the software industry, you can talk of Microsoft. Then we also have uh, there is a possibility of the supplier integrating forward. If we look at a good example is a brewer buying bars. If a brewer purchases bars, it means that he will produce his own product and sell it in their bars, and that one will make them be more powerful as suppliers. Then we have customers are fragmented, not in cluster, so that they can have little bargaining power. A good example is, in our context, is the petrol station in remote places, whereby you find that they do not they have an advantage over the consumer. Then the other one was threats of substitute. This is where there is product for product substitution. A good example is email for fax, where there is substitution of need. A good e.g., better toothpaste reduces needs for a dentist. If you substitute one, it saves the other. The other one is where we have where there is generic substitution, competing for currency in your pocket, e.g., video suppliers compete with travel companies. Another one we could have is we could always do without items we could always do without. An example are cigarettes. Then the final area of concern is competitive rivalry. This is most likely to be high where an entry is likely. There is a threat of substitute products, and the suppliers and buyers in the market attempt to control. Uh, this is why it is always seen that there is this is why it is always seen in the center of the diagram, as I had indicated earlier on. Uh, from there, let's try to look at another influence, that is the SWOT analysis. When you talk about SWOT analysis, we want to analyze our business in terms of its strengths, its weaknesses, its opportunities, and the threats that begulf any given organization. When you talk of SWOT analysis, a SWOT analysis is a tool for auditing an organization and its environment. It is the first stage of planning and helps marketers to focus on key issues. SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Uh, Strengths and weakness are internal, whereas opportunities and threats are said to be external. In SWOT analysis, strengths and weakness are internal factors, and some of the strengths could be your specialized marketing expertise, a new innovative product or service. We could also have location of your business being a strength. We could have quality processes and procedures, and also any other aspect of your business that adds value to your product or service. Then we could have a weakness like, for instance, lack of marketing expertise, which will affect your business extensively. Undifferentiated products or services, like like in relation to your competitors. Then location of your business may be a weakness as well, if it is located in an area that is not accessible to your customers. Then poor quality goods and services, and also damaged reputation. Most of the last one, damaged reputation, is very vital. If you have a good reputation, try to keep it up. But if you have damaged reputation, it means that your business will be directly affected by that. Still in SWOT analysis, we have opportunities and threats. And opportunities and threats are external factors, which the organization may not have direct control over. An opportunity could be developing a market such as the internet, whereby you are able to sell your products online or your services online. Then joint ventures and strategic analysis can also be opportunities within the organization. Then moving into new market segments that offer improved profits, and also a new international market. You find that most of the customers may not have direct influence on the international market, but they may be able to penetrate that particular market as an opportunity. Then we have a market that has been vacated by an ineffective competitor. Uh, this in, this you can take advantage of as a marketer, because you will have more customers that are willing to change into your particular area. Then some of the threats that we may meet along the way in the course of running our business business is a new competitor in your home market. You may also have price wars with competitors. A competitor may have a new innovative product or service. Competitors have superior or access to channels of distribution, and that one may affect the level of competitiveness you may have. Then taxation is introduced to your product or services. That one will also affect your business in a very negative way. So if you do not take precautions, then Please note this: SWOT analysis can be very subjective, so we should not rely entirely on SWOT analysis. Uh, Two people rarely come up with the same version of SWOT analysis. We also have what we call TOS. TOS analysis. TOS analysis is extremely similar. It simply looks at the negative factors first in order to turn them into positive factors. It is important that we use SWOT as a guide, not a prescription. Uh, Simple rules for successful SWOT analysis are as follows. One, be realistic about the strengths and weaknesses of your organization when conducting SWOT analysis. You need to bring out facts so that you may be able to see how realistic your strengths and weaknesses are in order to be able to cope with them. Then SWOT analysis should distinguish where your organization is today and where it could be in the future. Then SWOT should always be specific and should always avoid gray areas. Remember, when you're carrying out SWOT analysis, you need to have a very clear mind, or a very clear structure on exactly what you want to get so that you may be able to carry out effective SWOT analysis. Uh, Always apply SWOT analysis in relation to your competitors. That is better better than or worse than your competitors. If you bring that into perspective, you'll be able to get an opportunity for growth. Then keep your SWOT analysis, keep your keep your SWOT short and simple. Avoid complexity and over analysis. But one thing we should always keep in mind is that SWOT is subjective. Uh, Once the key issues have been identified in your SWOT analysis, they feed into the marketing objective. SWOT can be used in conjunction with other tools for audit and analysis, such as best analysis, Porter's five force analysis. Uh, SWOT analysis is a very popular tool with marketing students because it is quick and easy to apply. From there, I would like us to focus briefly on the pest analysis. When we talk about the pest analysis, here we are looking at the uh, PEST being an acronym, P standing for political factors, E standing for economic factors, S standing for social cultural factors, and T standing for technological factors. What is pest analysis? Uh, it is very important. It is very important that an organization considers its environment before beginning the marketing process. In fact, environmental analysis should be continuous and feed all aspects of planning. The organization's marketing environment is made up of the following: the internal environment, that is the staff, or internal customers, uh, office technology, wages, finances, etc. It also has the micro environment, that is our external customers, agents, distributors, suppliers, our competitors, etc. Then we have the macro environment, that is the political and legal forces. We have the economic forces, we have the social cultural forces, we have the technological forces. These are known as the best factors. Political factors. If you look at the political factors, the political arena has a huge influence upon the regulation of businesses and the spending power of the customers and other businesses. You must consider issues such as: one, how stable is the political environment, because it influences directly your business. Uh, will government policies influence laws that regulate or tax your business? That is also something else to put in mind. What is the government's position on marketing ethics? We also need to think about the ethics when it comes to marketing and also the government's position. Then, what is the government's policies on the economy? Remember, every government would like to grow its economy, so it's important for it to look at that. Then, does the government have a view on culture and religion? Remember, most governments are said to be secular, but it is important for them to also consider the cultural and religious aspects of its citizenry. So from there, let's also look at the economic factors. When marketers need to consider the state of a trading economy in the short and long terms. This is especially true when planning for international marketing. You need to look at the following interest rates. You also need to look at the level of inflation, employment level per capita, long-term prospects for economy, that is GDP, the gross domestic products per capita, and so on. Then we have the cultural factor. It is important for us to look at the social economic factor, social cultural factor. The social and cultural influences on business vary from country to country. It is very important that such factors be considered. Those factors will include what is the dominant religion. The dominant religion may give direction to what that particular country or what that particular region can offer or not offer. What are the attitudes to foreign products and services? There may be a relationship between attitude of foreign products and what the country has to offer as well. Then, does language impact upon the diffusion of products into the market? That is very vital because at times you may communicate to a language that in a language that the consumer may not understand, and if you do so, it means that they may not be able to get to understand the product that you are offering. Then another thing we need to ask, how much time do customers have for leisure? If you know the time the customers have for leisure, then you can be able to tell the kind of products you may be in a position to offer. Then another thing we also need to consider is what are the roles of men and women within the society? You find that certain societies give roles for both men and women, and various societies have different roles for different gender, and that one will impact on what we can offer within that particular market. Then, how long are the population living? Uh, are older generation wealthy? If you put that into perspective, it will guide you on whether or not to be able to market a particular product within a given place. Then, does the population have a strong or weak opinion on green issues? Remember, now the world is going green, and if you don't go green, that means you will be pushed out because basically we need to bring back life to the world. From there, now let's look at the other factor, that is the technological factor. Uh, Technology is vital for competitive advantage and is a major driver of globalization. That is one thing we need to put into mind at all times. Consider the following one. Does technology allow for products and services to be made more cheaply and to a better standard of quality? If you realize that technology will make the products better, go for it. But if the technology may not add value to the product, then I'll rather you don't go for it. But basically, you find that technology makes work easier and also reduces the cost of production. Then, does technology offer consumer and business more innovative products and services such as internet banking? new generation mobile phones, etc. If you look at these, you find that technology will enable one to be able to transact in a more easier way, like the mobile money, like the internet banking, among others. How is distribution changed by new technology, e.g., books via the internet, flight tickets, auctions, etc.? When traveling nowadays, you find it is much easier to book your ticket online rather than using a travel agent, and it is even more cheaper. So, how does technology impact on the distribution? That is one of the other aspects that we need to consider when when looking at the technological factors. Then, does technology offer companies new way to communicate with consumers, e.g., banners, customer relationship management, etc.? This is very important. Does technology really play a vital role in ensuring that companies get information as they require, consumers get information as they require? It is quite important for us to put that into perspective. And once we do that, then you can be assured that the marketing environment will fit every other aspect of life. And with that, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for listening to this particular presentation on marketing environment. And thank you very much. And may the good Lord bless you all.